Keely Hodgkinson has had one date circled on her calendar for almost 10 months, July 4th, 2026. Ever since Lilian Odira ran her down in the last 50 meters to take the world title in Tokyo, the two have never raced each other. At Hayward Field in Eugene, that streak finally ends. The revenge race is here. But can Keely actually win it? To understand why this race matters so much, you have to go back to September 21, 2025. Tokyo, the World Championships final. Keely Hodgkinson walked onto that track as the Olympic champion and the clear favorite. Almost nobody in the stadium was talking about Lilian Odira. The race went out fast. Kenya's Mary Moraa hit the bell in 55.57 seconds, a brutal opening lap. That pace was no accident. The Kenyan team had a plan. Moraa would burn the field early, and the strongest Kenyan would survive the damage. Keely stayed calm. At 600 meters, she made her famous surge and took the lead. She hit the home straight in front, exactly where she wanted to be. Then it fell apart. First, her own training partner Georgia Hunter-Bell came past. Then, in the final 20 meters, Odira flew down the outside lane like she had been shot out of a cannon. Odira crossed the line in 1:54.62. That time broke a championship record that had stood for 42 years, the 1:54. 68 set by Jarmila Kratochvilova back in 1983, Hunter-Bell took silver in 1:54.90. Keely got bronze in 1:54.91. Read those numbers again. 1/100th of a second separated silver from bronze. It was the deepest women's 800-meter final in history. Every single runner finished under 1:58. Mary Moraa, the woman who set that wild early pace, paid the price and faded to 7th. Kenya's other young star, Sarah Moraa, ran a personal best of 1:55.74 and still only managed 4th. That is how fast this race was. The bronze stung even more because of Keely's history. She had taken silver at the 2 World Championships before this one. She finally broke that pattern with Olympic gold in Paris in 2024. In Tokyo, she wanted the world title to match it. Instead, she walked away with her first bronze. Keely admitted afterward that Odira's finish caught her off guard. She never expected the Kenyan to close that fast. Now hold that thought, because who Lilian Odira actually is makes this story even harder to believe. Lilian Odira was not supposed to win in Tokyo. Her personal best before those championships was 1:56.52. She ran that time in Silesia in August 2025, finishing 2 full seconds behind Keely in that same. 2 seconds is a lifetime in the 800. 1 month later, she beat Keely at the World Championships with a time almost 2 seconds faster than she had ever run. Her path to that moment sounds like a movie. Odira was born in 1999 in Migori County, Kenya, and grew up in a rural village. She started out as a cross-country runner. In 2020, she stepped away from the sport to have children. She is a mother of 2 boys. She works for the Kenya Prison Service and trains in Nairobi under coach Jacinta Muragura. At the Paris Olympics in 2024, she did not even make the final. She ran 1:58.53 in the semifinals and went home. Little more than a year later, she had improved by almost 4 full seconds and stood on top of the world. She had even won her Tokyo semifinal ahead of Audrey Werro, and still nobody rated her chances in the final. She became just the 4th Kenyan woman ever to win the world 800-meter title. Her gold was Kenya's 7th of those championships, and it meant Kenyan women had won every event from the 800 all the way up to the marathon. After the race, Odira gave credit to Keely and her coaches. She said rivals push each other and that you need people better than you to become the fastest in the world. Respectful words. But make no mistake, she took the one title Keely wanted most. So what has Keely done about it since? That answer starts with a world record. Keely did not hide after Tokyo. She attacked. In February 2026 in Leuven, France, she broke the world indoor 800-meter record with a time of 1:54.87. After that run, she said she had never felt closer to the biggest prize left in the sport, the outdoor world record of 1:53.28. That mark was set by Kratochvilova in 1983, and it is the oldest world record in all of track and field. Nobody has touched it in 43 years, but 2026 has not been smooth. A new threat appeared, and her name is Audrey Werro. On June 7th in Stockholm, the young Swiss star beat Keely head-to-head, running 1:53.98. Keely ran 1:54.33 behind her, which broke her own British record, and it still was not enough. Then Werro got even faster. In Paris in late June, she clocked 1:53.80, the third fastest time in history. Werro now owns the third and fourth fastest 800s ever run. 6 weeks ago, Keely was the fastest woman in the world this year. Now, she is the one chasing. Then came a real scare. On June 21 at the UK Championships in Birmingham, Keely pulled out of the 400-meter final moments before the start. Fans feared the worst, and for good reason. In 2025, a torn hamstring wiped out most of her season. She raced only twice before Tokyo that year. At Friday's press conference in Eugene, she explained the withdrawal. She felt a little tightness in her leg and refused to take the risk. She also admitted something honest. Bad injuries leave scars in your head, not just your body. The good news for her fans is that she completed a full training session days later with zero problems, and she confirmed she is completely fit for the Showdown. Here is the detail that raises the stakes even higher. This is her first 800-meter race since that Stockholm defeat. She has two things to prove at once, and one of them is standing on the start line right next to her. Do not think the world champion has been resting on her gold medal. Odira opened her 2026 season at the Prefontaine Classic in Nairobi in April, finishing second in 1:59.15. In June, she won her third straight Kenyan national title, which booked her first ever trip to the Commonwealth Games. She currently sits fourth in the world rankings, but here is the strange gap in her resume. For all her success, Lilian Odira has never won a Diamond League race. Not once. The world champion is still hunting that first victory, and beating Keely again in Eugene would be the perfect way to grab it. Remember, the last time these two raced, Odira was the underdog nobody saw coming. This time around, everyone sees her coming. Does that pressure change anything? The setting could not be bigger. This is the 51st Prefontaine Classic at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon, the 9th stop of the 2026 Diamond League season, running on the 4th of July. The women's 800 here carries a special name, the Mutola 800-meter, honoring the legend Maria Mutola, who won at this meet 16 times in her career, 12 of those in the 800. In the first Mutola 800 meters last year, 8 women broke 2 minutes in a single race. Keely knows this track well. She has broken 2 minutes at Hayward Field 6 times, with a best of 1:55.99 from the 2023 Pre-Classic. Speed lives in this stadium, and the field around these two is loaded. Prudence Sekgodiso of South Africa, the 2025 World Indoor Champion, is in. Halimah Nakaayi of Uganda, the 2019 World Champion, is in. France's Anais Bourgoin arrives just days after setting a French national record of 1:55.65 in Paris. NCAA champion Sanu Jallow and American stars Addison Wiley and Raevyn Rogers round out a brutal lineup. One note for the diehards. Georgia Hunter Bell, the woman who took silver in Tokyo, switched to the mile at this meet to face Faith Kipyegon, and Audrey Werro is not in Eugene. That clears the stage. This is Keely against Odira, one-on-one, with no distractions. There is one more layer. Keely said this season is about chasing that 43-year-old world record of 1:53.28. A fast, fearless race on this track could bring her closer to it than ever.